Hey, it's Don the Auction Professor here. I had talked about all the quantity of paper and stuff I do get. This is just a week's worth right here bin of paper that I got. There's probably 500 or 600 minimum in this, and this is just the ones we've sorted out to list right away. It varies from Victorian Valentine's cards by Raphael Tuck, bird cards, collectibles, just on and on. The amount of items in here is pretty horrendous. There's a lot of nice stuff in here, a lot of high dollar items here. And again, this won't be listed right away. I've got bins of these that we stack up, and it's first in, first out with this kind of stuff. I mean, the items here are mostly trade cards, posters, paper items in general. These are like coffee cards. They come from McLaughlin's Coffee. They did a lot of items, more coffee cards, candy cards, roller skating related. The stuff that's in here varies, but it's mostly like early paper items, Victorian. There's some luggage labels. There's die cuts of like Ulysses S. Grant. There's small size trade cards. There's just a ton of little items in here. And again, this is just from a week. There's die cuts. There's, geez, the amount of stuff in here is pretty broad. There's Santa Claus items in this bag. There's large items. There's posters. There's advertising cards. Again, there's probably guesstimating $3,000–4,000 here that we're going to profit on once it goes up. This is a typical purchase for a typical week. And again, this is literally how we'll get it together. There'll be little tiny bags. Once it gets a little farther along, there'll be posties put on them with some directions on shooting the photos, which ones need to have rulers, which ones need to have measurements. But this is, again, this is typical. This is literally what we go through a week in processing and getting ready to list. And then, again, this will be sitting on a shelf ready to line up. There'll be literally 4 or 5. There's 3 over there now. This one will be 4th, and there'll probably be a 5th one before we start to pull even from the very first one we have from a few weeks ago. Because, again, we're working through this as we do it. We have a 90-day plan. And again, this is just literally from 1 week's worth of purchases. And this doesn't include postcards and some of the other items that I list a different way. Postcards don't need a ruler for the most part, so they're just blown out, one by one. I search through them, we pick out the good ones, list those, and then we go from there. But again, this is just a week's worth. This is literally what we do. I hunt all over the place. I go to tons of auctions, or I have someone go to auctions for me. These are items that came from pickers. 3 or 4 different pickers helped to acquire this material here. And it's stuff that most people would pass up or wouldn't think much of. Paper items just don't seem to be on the eye of most people. I don't know why. They sell very, very well. It would have to be in my top 5 items to sell would be paper items. So again, this is something that you always want to look out for. I always make good money on it. Always look out for paper items, vintage paper, pre-1940s, military, or something advertising. Even magazine, cutouts even sell. So those are print ads. They do sell very well, but paper is one of my top sellers. So you can kind of see that there's a lot of money to be made. This is, as I said, literally $3,000 or $4,000 minimum, maybe even more than that in this bin. But this is every week we get about this much in. It just depends on how good the week is or how many pickers call me. Again, Don the Auction Professor, please subscribe, like, and tell a friend. Have a good day.